first time I had a meeting with McGee, he said, I want to have a relationship with you in which if I say to you that I want to land a 747 on the 405 freeway during rush hour, that you will look at me and go, I'll make a few phone calls on that.
Thank you, background going nuts!
Charlie's Angels 2 is a lot bigger movie than Charlie's Angels 1. But it doesn't mean that we didn't have to be incredibly aggressive in controlling the budget, because when it gets bigger,
Let's go big!
Everything gets bigger.
We could use a little more sauce in the explosion.
It was a huge production. I don't know, maybe 20 semis and catering trucks and a huge crew. I mean, you'd look down the sidewalk and you couldn't see daylight through the crew. That's how many people are on that crew.
It's a big ship. It can't turn on a dime. It is not a speedboat. It's a battleship. So if you're going to change course, it'll take a bit of time to do so.
The amount of money that you can spend very quickly on a show of this scale is astronomical. If there wasn't a firm hand and there wasn't the kind of coordination between departments.
What I'm saying is that will determine how the car comes into the building.
It's constantly evolving, and a new idea will come up on Monday that we're going to shoot on Friday. So there would be meetings at lunch, meetings after we wrap for the day, where you know, whatever you thought we were doing next week, we're not. Here's what we are doing. Every film, especially an action film, it's a different beast each time. You kind of break it up in pre-production into smaller parts so that they don't seem as intimidating.
Scheduling Charlie's Angels is like multi-dimensional tic-tac-toe. If you make a change in one direction, it will definitely affect something over here that you may not immediately realize is going to be a problem. But it will sure enough crop up right about when you think that you've got all your scheduling problems solved.
It's a puzzle that has no actual solution. There's thousands of solutions, so sometimes it falls into its own place. Locations become available only on certain days, actors only available on certain days.
Lucy Liu's not going to come back from the movie that she's on with Quentin Tarantino in enough time to be able to shoot the scene that we probably would like to start with.
Debbie had her obligations. She was appearing on a sitcom at the time, and she had some prior commitments before getting on board.
They knew that we would have to deal with Bernie Mac because Bernie Mac was doing a television show in the middle of our schedule. Drew had a number of publicity engagements, as well as Cameron had the same thing for Gangs in New York.
It can come down to the lesser of two evils sometimes. I mean, any time a hiccup happens, the domino effect can go right down.
Mark Tatum, our first AD, is like a gifted scheduler. And just at the point where I would want to be like, you know, putting the knife in, Mark would go, no, I can do this and I can change this and I can do that.
You generally try to have a fallback, but every once in a while you've got nowhere to go. You have a cup of coffee.
Once upon a time, there were three very different little girls.
What we call the triptych sequences, which are the opening sequences, which are essentially the same as you had in the original television show. Everyone tended to just sort of be very casual about how difficult they were going to be. And I sensed pretty early on that they were going to take a lot of time. Each day was going to be a special effort.
It's a constant fight to keep those in the movie. If you're breaking down the movie financially, you know, you've got to spread out the money, and it seems like you don't want to put an inordinate amount of money into something that's going to flash by. But each of those pieces is as important to the mix as any major action sequence.
On the very first day of principal photography, we had the girls run away from the cars as they blew up. And then we had Drew on the hood of the car going over a bridge in downtown. So all of these things, particularly when you're trying to get a lot of work done in a short period of time, you got to plan it really well. And there's almost always some stunt component in these things.
Let's roll down, please.
The one thing that you become concerned about is safety. If you're on the set with me, it's pretty light until there's a chance of someone getting hurt, be it from a special effect or a stunt. If there's a chance someone's gonna get hurt, you generally go into a more serious mode.
The monster truck sequence just kept sort of eluding us, and eventually we said we're gonna have to do it. We had people from Bigfoot, it's like a mom and pop kind of company. They were so excited to be in the movie. And when we got the monster truck out there, everybody looked at each other like this and went, wow, this is huge.
It's hilarious having those guys sort of acting like kids in a candy store with proper film equipment and Russell Carpenter to shoot them.
Did you see all the little stickers? So many times he's rolled it.
The camera guys got real dirty when, the truck was doing donuts and spraying dirt all over everybody. And, we had to clean a few cameras off a little more thoroughly than usual, but we had a great time.
And just before sundown, we ran inside to shoot the birthing of a calf, which was a little bit gear change.
Okay.
We used the prosthetic rear end of the calf from City Slickers, because we were going, how do we do this? How do we do this? And one of the stuck with us says, well, you should call up the guys who did City Slickers. And you call them up and they go, I don't know, I haven't used that rear end in about 15 years. I have to go see if it's still supple.
Hot water.
He called me and goes, yeah, just with a little bit of KY jelly, it's gonna be fine. And they'll be right here.
They pushed a live calf through the opening of a fake cow.
Oh my God. This looks like something I saw in the banana bar.
It comes out all gooey, and Karen pulled it out, and yeah, we looked away. Not so much on the craft service table that afternoon.
3, 2, 1, action!
But that's the thing, when you're shooting film, there are shots that took 2-3 days to rig and figure out how to do that, are just fleeting little shots in the picture. And sometimes there's shots that are a piece of cake of, two people talking that end up being sort of a visual touchstone in the picture.
If you need two of them,
In the chaos of changing schedules and budgets and all of that stuff, that artistry still managed to stay alive. And on all levels, it's an unusual group of people. And McGee is responsible, I think, for letting everybody kind of just expand a little bit.
You take a pride in your work. McGee's a very passionate guy, and he likes people to be passionate about what they do. And you feel good if everything's going well, and we take it to heart.
Here we go. Roll sound, please.
there's a lot of satisfaction in which we're going to end up with a movie that's going to live longer than any of us will. And it's something I can look back and say, there was this great human experience, there were some rocky moments, but generally people feel really proud about the work that they've done.
We're almost there. Thank you so much. Applause for everybody.
And to end up with a film, which is this wonderful creation that people, go into dark rooms and sit there and watch, that's really satisfying.